Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to this brand new episode of a new season of Monday Motivation. So, for those of you that have been following these Monday Motivations each morning at 7 a.m, Monday Motivation was really designed back in 2008, actually, when I was working in financial services. I was a very senior training manager. And I realised that Sundays got a really bad rap. Mondays even got a really bad rap. In fact, I noticed that on a Sunday, most people would spend their time dreading the Monday morning. Morning, Alan, morning. So if you're watching this, whether it's live or on the replay, do pop in and say good morning. I noticed that some of you, when you watch on the replays, even if you've watched it live actually, will just type replay, which I love. But I will always come back and comment. And I will always engage with you and interact with you, because this is what this is about. It's not about me, it's about us. So back in 2008, when people were sort of spending their Sunday evenings dreading going into the office on a Monday, that kind of energy would come into the office on a Monday, where people would have a lot to do, they'd have a very busy week, but they'd almost be a bit slow to start. Sorry, just move this chair that I've got next to me out of the way. So they'd be really slow to start. And I thought, what a way to start your week. That feeling of dread, that feeling of, oh gosh, it's Monday morning. So I started sending little motivational messages around the office. And before long, I brought it into my business. I brought it into what I was doing on a daily basis. And more importantly, I started to look at ways to make Monday an exciting boost to the week, boost to the morning, boost to the Monday. And then when I went into business myself in 2010, I wanted to carry on the tradition until, I'm just trying to think, I think it was 2 years ago this summer, well, give or take a few weeks, a bit more than 2 years ago, I decided to bring it up to scratch, up to date, and breathe in new life to Monday Motivation. So instead of receiving a nice, saying from Marilyn Monroe or from, Ariana Grande or somebody, like Oprah or Tony Robbins, I decided to bring them to life and share things that you could actually use in your life. Now, you might be able to use them in your life, but actually so will many of your friends. So for Monday Motivation, if you're in need of a little pep up for your Monday, for your morning, or even for your week, that's exactly what these were designed for. So with that in mind, you might be looking for a little bit of motivation, or you might be looking for a bit of longevity, but also so will your Facebook friends. So if you are watching this and you love anything that I've shared in this or any other previous episode, I would ask you to share it on your timeline. Why on your timeline? Because I know that a lot of my audience are business audience. Either they run their own businesses or they work in an organisation and get lots of great nuggets from this. But actually, so do all of your family and friends. So if you share this on your timeline, other people will be able to get access to a bit of a Monday Motivation boost too. And whenever I see that you've shared, I always put a comment so I've shared to say thank you. So I'd really love that. So today's theme or topic is restart, renew, re-energize. Why did I even pick this topic? Well, as a business owner myself, and I am the sole director of my business, I often work with people on a consultancy basis. And also, if I have people do some work for me, they're not my employees, they subcontract, if you like. So quite often, being in business can be a lonely business. It can mean that we want to bounce ideas from somebody, but how do you bounce ideas from somebody when it's a new idea and, who do you trust to do that? And sometimes we might start to feel a bit deflated. We don't know whether something is working out for us or not. Like, how do we do that? What do we need to do? So this morning I'm going to talk about if you want to restart, review, re-energize. So let's start with restart. So many people say to me, Jenny, you know, I need to be more consistent in one area. It could be cash flow, it could be in being visible itself, it could be in marketing their business, it could be in being consistent in health. Maybe they've started running and fallen off the wagon. Maybe they've started a healthy eating diet. Maybe they want new and better relationships with friends, business acquaintances, even personal relationships. Could even be their children. But each time when we want to start or restart something, I've noticed, not only in my clients, in myself as well at times, I notice that we tend to start from a place of, oh, you know, I've fallen off the wagon, I've stopped doing this thing. And we put more energy and more focus on the things that we're not doing, as opposed to the things that we could be doing. Hey, Lisa's back. Hi, Lisa. Good morning. Hope you had a lovely time away. So here's the thing, whenever you feel like you need to restart something, the energy or the focus needs to really go on the thing that we want to start. We spend far too much time, energy, beating ourselves up, telling ourselves that we were silly for not doing something, you know, berating ourselves for our past mistakes. This is a really common one that I'm coming across more and more. You know, on Friday night, I went to see Gabrielle Bernstein on a book tour. So basically she's written a book called The Judgment Detox, and she talked about ways in which not only we judge others but we judge ourselves. And the way that I see this come up a lot for a lot of the people that I work closely with, and has come up for myself in the past, is the way we judge ourselves for things that we've done, decisions we've made, even mistakes we might have made. We spend a lot of time berating ourselves. And how that can show up, for example, I'll give you an example from my own life. You know, many years ago, I had the opportunity to work with somebody on a specific area of my business. And as I'd been to a conference, they'd made an offer from the stage. I literally ran to the back of the room to sign up. And from that point, there were a few things that didn't go according to plan, you know, but that was fine. I kind of got over that. But eventually, unfortunately, the work didn't work out for me. So here's what I did. Hey, Chantel, morning. She's saying morning to everyone. We've got Lisa on, we've got Alan on, we've got people who I know are watching but haven't said hello, so I'll value their privacy. But we've got a few of you on, so good morning. And I remember, you know, this didn't work out. The person, unfortunately, didn't deliver. So, you know, I feel like I should name and shame them, but I won't. This guy did not deliver at all. And he turned out to be a bit of a rip-off. So I knew I had to take responsibility for my part in what I did, and maybe the signs that I didn't look out for, the red flags I didn't look out for, which is me taking responsibility. The thing that I inadvertently took responsibility for was his bad behaviour, his lack of, you know, delivery, if you like. And there comes a point where when somebody acts in a certain way, does something, it maybe doesn't fit with your values, doesn't sit well with you, doesn't work out for you, you can't take on their stuff. You simply can't. But a lot of us, you know, will feel guilty and bad, you know, we made a bad decision, and then we will not only use it to kind of berate ourselves, we'll use it to project what could happen in the future. Well, thank goodness that I've been privileged to work with so many great people since then. I've done some completely amazing work with amazing coaches, brilliant mentors. Yet every time I went to step in to do some work with somebody else, I'd be really concerned about, well, last time when I did this work with this guy, which was like back in 2012, you know, then what if this new person is the same as them? Well, they weren't. But here's how I judged myself, and here's how I stopped myself restarting. I would spend time berating myself about how stupid I was, and I should have seen the signs, and when I did see the signs and I ignored them, and I should have done this, and how stupid am I, and next time, you know, goes on and on and on. And how I judge myself is then I judge that I am not worthy of making a great decision and moving forward. When I judge myself to do that, it stops me from restarting, because of the judgment going on in me, I'm then judging the next person who I have no experience of. And the best thing that I learned to do very quickly, thankfully, was those concerns that I had where I judged myself and then was about to judge somebody else on something we didn't even know to be true, was to write down the concerns I had, form them into questions so that when I was speaking to the next person, I could say, what would happen if this, or how would you deal with X? This made a really juicy connection. It let me make a firm decision as to whether I would be able to do the thing that I wanted to do or not. Now, why did I give you that as an example? When we're looking to restart something, it's really important that we kind of do a couple of things. And I mentioned one of them in the title. One of them is to review what we want, and then that's followed on by something else I'll come to right now. And also to re-energize the thing that we want to do. It could be the thing we want to do, it could be ourselves, it could be our brand, our products, it could be our relationship with our boss, it could be anything. But it's really important to do that. So know that whatever you're going through, whether it seems like a biggie at the moment and you can't see anything else, you know, the expression, this too shall pass. This too shall pass. So here's the thing. Look at where you are now, where you want to go to, where you want to be, where you want to go forward. And the first thing to do is to recognise if you want to restart something. Hey, Judith Quinn's on the line. Good morning, lovely. If you want to restart something, then do restart it. Don't worry about what happened in the past. Give yourself some time, if you're a journaling person, to write down and review what has gone on. So this is the next step. If you're looking to restart something, forgive yourself for anything that you did before, any decisions you made before, or anything that anyone else did. So, and I do that in air quotes for a reason, because due to you is a whole new topic for another Facebook Live on a Monday Motivation. But look at what they did, and look at how you have taken that on and how it has affected your ability or your motivation to step forward. So I just want to get a check with what I just said there, you know, beating yourself up, berating yourself. If this has ever been you, or you've ever done this, would you give me either a thumbs up or a love heart? And then that way I can see that I'm on the right track. I can also make sure that when I'm covering this next piece, which is what you do next with that to restart, review and re-energize, that it's on point. And if you've got specific examples or things that you want me to cover or questions, do type them in the box below. While we're live, I'll be able to answer that before I go into my coaching day. So yeah, Judith says, I've just restarted my presence and action in my group without the guilt of letting it go a bit. Exactly. You know, we can spend a lot of time dwelling. That's exactly the sort of thing that we can spend a lot of time dwelling in. Oh, well, I've been really quiet in my group. Like, think about this. If you've been really quiet in your group and you know that you want to start up again, what good is it focusing on the fact that you've been quiet in your group, or you've been busy and haven't been posting in your group, when all you need to do is just to get back on the saddle and start posting again? It really is as simple as that. As human beings with the emotions and the complex, the complex emotions that we can sometimes do for ourselves, we can make that a lot harder than it needs to be. So here's the next step to do this. In order to do this, in order to move forward, because it's all well and good, you know, some of us are driven to like just go, 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 but many of us aren't. We need to be in flow. We need to be aligned. We need to feel that it makes sense. We need to feel that we're in the right place and doing the thing that we need to do at the right time. The easiest way I know that is to do a review. And I have got in front of me one of my notebooks, one of my many notebooks, because in this notebook is a practice that not only do I do on an annual basis, so at the end of every year, I also do this practice at the end of every month in a very short and succinct way, and at the end of every quarter. So you'll notice behind me, whether it's in mirror writing or not, today, as we record this, is the 2nd of July 2018. That means that we have just ended quarter 2 of this year. And I do a review every quarter too. And there are lots of questions that I ask in review. But what I need to know is, because sometimes, oops, sorry, I've got a thing in front of me from Twitter. Sometimes there's something that might be stopping us, or some things that might be stopping us, and we're not even consciously aware of it. By going through a review process, that review process enables us to clean out or show ourselves what has stopped us, and then it allows us to move forward. So I'm just going to give a quick flash of this. That's how my brain works. Those are the review pieces that I will go through and ask myself. So some really great questions off the top of my head. I'm not going to read all of these out for you, but some really great questions might be to ask yourself was, you know, what didn't go according to plan in the last month or quarter or 6 months? Or if you're doing a review at the end of the year, what didn't go well last year, you know? And it's great to start with this place, not from a place of beating yourself up or berating yourself, but just like a great audit of what didn't go so well. Maybe there was a plan for you to start clean eating and you found that you were eating, you know, chocolate and junk food or something more often than you wanted to be. That's fine. Make an acknowledgement of that and write it down so you can see it. It could be that you didn't reach some sort of financial goal. And it's so funny because in business, many of us talk about reaching financial goals or certain income, but there's also your financial goals. So for example, you'll see many of the lives, I've got these little pots behind me, something that's a bit kind of T. Harv Eker, a little bit Anne Wilson, who's known as a wealth chef, a way that you can put money pots to allocate funds for certain things. And one of the things that I've found when I've been, sorry, I've got all these press notifications that keep coming up on my phone. One thing that I found, especially when I've worked, because I work with men and women, is how they present when it comes to money. So men will normally have structures and things in place so that they've got like savings, they've got emergency pots and things like that. Women, most of the women I work with won't. Some of the women I work with do. So like Anne Wilson, I remember with fond memory that in 2013 that I helped her to organise her first. It was her first Wealth Chef Weekender, as it was called at the time, the very first one that she did in the UK, and subsequently went on to do others in South Africa, and now it's like an annual event with like people flying in from all over the world. Anne Wilson's really savvy on this stuff, and with her she had these money pots, for example, so it meant that she could allocate funds to certain things and didn't find herself being kind of like left hanging in anything else. And she teaches this stuff too. So when you're looking at your review, have a look at maybe the things that didn't work out for you, because by naming them and listing them down, you can do something about it. You can work out, do you need to look at your health? Do you need to look at your wealth? Do you need to look at your business? Do you need to look at your visibility? Do you need to look at your sales? And you can then get the appropriate help moving forward for it. One really great question, and this especially works well on a monthly review. So we're at July now. You might ask yourself, what was the number one challenge that you had in the last month, last quarter, even last week? It might take a moment to kind of mull through that month, but what was the number one challenge that you had? And if you can have a series of questions that you can ask yourself to have a look at what happened, then it makes it a lot clearer to know to sort of springboard yourself forward when it comes to the next step, which is re-energizing. You can spring forward and re-energize from a place of knowing, what to do. So here's how I've been doing that. So based on doing these regular reviews, I've looked at the challenges, I've looked at the things that didn't work out so well, I've looked at what I would do differently next time, and then I've looked forward. I've stopped looking backwards, I've stopped judging myself, judging others, beating myself up, stopped mulling it around my head, put it down on paper, so I've now got a plan, and looked forward. And in the process of re-energizing myself to look forward, again, there are questions I'll want to ask myself. There are questions I want to ask about, what do I want? Which direction am I going in? You don't always need to know the specifics of how, but knowing or starting off with where you're going to go to, where you're aiming towards, is really significant. And I went through this process where in May, I just went, you know what, I'm sick and tired of saying, I'm gonna. And there was one specific thing I wanted to do. And I just made the decision, I don't know how it's going to happen, I'm just going to do it. And the rewards that it reaps are great in terms of me feeling motivated, me feeling energized. It's like the opportunities that are available, sorry, dust cart alert in the background. It's like the opportunities that are now available to me are opening up because I made the decision of what I was going to do and why I was going to do it. Opportunities opened up, possibilities opened up, people started to fall into place that could help me along the plan, and I knew because I've written it down. So I know that some of you sometimes struggle doing this by yourself. If you don't, you know, good on you, save this video, share this video, and then, you know, make a list of the things that you want to do, how you want to do them, so you've got a roadmap for yourself. I know that if you're anything like me and a lot of my audience, you don't like being told what to do and how you have to do it. You know, you're all independent, you've all got your own thoughts, ideas and plans.